distance, we added the rain in on purpose just to test your resilience, and you passed. Absolutely. So let's get into the market real quick. Real estate market in 2023 has certainly been quite a ride. We've learned even more about how the market behaves thanks to our friends at the Bank of Canada. We've certainly tried to navigate us through these unprecedented times. You might be thinking, I think I've learned enough, thanks, because I certainly am. Can we just have rates normalized, confidence returned, and a normal level of transactions? I know we were spoiled, or should I say maybe tricked slightly by those low rates, but I've been told the strategy was necessary for our country to manage through lockdowns. And however I don't love the outcome, this is certainly enough already with this forced austerity plan they've now put us on. After the last rate increase, you could clearly tell who had chosen a fixed rate. Those are the only people smiling in the room. Well, as we know, hope is not a strategy. So what we do is analyze market data, review urbanation reports, study the Bank of Canada guidance, and help our clients navigate the uncertainty times of change present. This year we learned how resilient our market truly is with the rate hold in January and the bond rate drop in March. We saw buyers jump off the sidelines and quickly drive up prices 15%. What we clarified is that population growth combined with low supply equals higher prices, period. Unfortunately, this resulted in too much pressure on our inflation rate and required the Bank of Canada to make a move again. Oh, and one more time for good measure. Although I personally did not agree with the rate increases and would suggest that the recent GDP report showing a contraction in our economy would confirm these increases were not needed, the Bank of Canada's strategy to stamp out inflation is not something they're going to take for granted, and they will work hard to ensure it is completely extinguished. So what does this mean for real estate? As you know, we like to focus on facts, as we know that we're human, and emotion can sometimes get the best of us. Sometimes. The fact is, we're the fastest growing G7 country. We will likely continue to grow at this pace for the next decade. The fact is, we don't have enough homes, and we don't have the resources to build enough homes. The fact is, our monetary policy over the past 40 months was designed for and the result of an unprecedented time on Earth, a modern-day global health crisis. Our real estate market is reacting to these key facts and the effect that they've had on our communities, nothing more, nothing less. So let's use some 2020 hindsight to determine what is likely to lay ahead. Monetary policy resulted in historically low rates, now understood to be too low for too long. This combined with the success of maintaining jobs, ultra-high savings rates, for a short period of time anyway, and a desire to have your own safe place to call home, sparked the biggest run on real estate in our market in 30 years, setting an all-time annual sales record volume of 121,000 units in 2021. Number two, population growth. The present federal strategy to welcome over 1 million people a year, that's both permanent and temporary residents, to this amazing place we call home has created unprecedented demand. To put it into context, this is the first time in history that we've grown at over 1 million people in a year, and the highest annual population growth on a percentage basis since 1957. Everyone will need a home, either to own or rent. Supply is not keeping up with the need for housing. We've witnessed this reality in the headlines as housing has become a political hot button, whether it's strategies to build faster, unlock more land, or remove barriers for development. We are seeing and hearing it all. The fact is, we do not have the capacity to build more with our present infrastructure. Lending policies. The feared mortgage stress test of January 2018. This could go down in banking history as one of the smartest policies they could have introduced. At the time, I remember listening to the lenders and us realtors, some of us anyway, complain that the policy would kill sales. Oh my goodness, it's over. Today, we have a much more stable environment thanks to this policy, as buyers have been qualified at a minimum of 5.25%, which has prepared them for today's rate environment. Without it, we would have seen a true 90s style correction. I was there, believe it or not. I know. It's hard to believe. It was not fun, as homeowners had to walk away from their homes, creating an environment of 8 to 10 months of standing inventory and plummeting prices. So what does it all mean today? Well, we're at the top end of our existing rate cycle with clear signs that the heavy lifting is done. We sold 5,300 resale homes last month, which is well below normal, and have only sold about 65,000 homes over the last 12 months. This means we're now turning the corner and heading to a more normal level of 90,000 homes per year, increasing our opportunities by 50,000 ends. 50,000 ends. Are you ready to participate? Yes. At least one of us is. That's great. We have 1 million new customers walking into our store every year, and they all want what we provide: exceptional real estate advice. Whether it's helping a family or a student with their first rental as they establish themselves, to their first purchase, to their first investment, or with their dream of owning a country property on a lake. This growth in demand will definitely help to hold real estate values strong and likely drive prices up in the near future. Due to the fact, of course, point number 3, supply. We're building as fast as we can. Jeff speaks to the developers clearly weekly, and they share the reality that we don't have enough trades. It takes roughly 10 years from land acquisition to delivery of finished product for high-rise. Levies and development charges have tripled in 10 years. And zoning has become a challenge. I was talking to Oswald earlier. He's trying to get a house, a small property zoned in Niagara. It's taken him 1.5 years. He's still not there yet. There aren't enough homes to satisfy the present level of growth, period. The simple concept of supply and demand has created an environment where we have witnessed all-time lows of less than 1 month of standing inventory to what is considered high in today's standards of 3 to 4 months. Remember, it was 8 to 10 months of standing inventory in the 90s. This is simply not enough homes, which is keeping prices stable even during this time of rapid rate expansion. Stress test policies have saved us from ourselves. I know everybody in here are responsible savers and we all manage our money perfectly. But for the rest of the folks out there, that seemed to fall into the North American trap of easy access to credit, fueled by a low-rate environment. They needed a little help. None of us in here did. Well, today we can breathe a little easier because the flood of power of sales that would normally happen in a rate change like we've experienced will not happen. The stress test has worked. And for a bonus, the banks have assisted those who chose a variable rate mortgage with providing an extra safety net, extending their amortizations to avoid systemic crisis with defaults. This is the first time in history that this has ever been done, ever. Up to 50-year amortizations are being allowed today to help people get through this tough time. This strategy has softened the blow of extreme rate increases and allowed for a much softer landing. So what are the opportunities? Buyers, be in the market. Be in the market. There's no way you're going to be able to know when you've stumbled across an opportunity if you're not in the market. I was talking to Chris Gregoris earlier. He was sharing with me he found a property for his client, downtown Toronto, a 3-year-old condo, $917 a foot. Get me more of that, please. You cannot build that property today for the same money that they just paid. It's an impossibility. You cannot replace the property today for the same money. But the client would not appreciate that opportunity if they were not in the market. And that's my call to buyers today. Get in the market. I'm not suggesting you have to buy this minute, but there's only going to be opportunities if you know that there are opportunities. You only know there are opportunities as if you're in the market. For sellers, if you can, wait. Don't sell. The longer you hold real estate, the more valuable it becomes. That being said, if you have to sell, I'd like you to take a big step back and take a look at the journey you've had in your real estate to determine the results that have been created. Because we can get caught in the moment as homeowners. I know I do it myself. Oh shoot, prices are going down, my home value is going, dropping. But we really need to appreciate the moment in time, the lifetime ownership and the value creation that we've had. relative to anything else we've invested in. And for us realtors, paddle hard.